tokens, I'm going to upscale it, right? And I'll show you what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to use Lumnar here. And by the way, guys, Lumnar is a software. I've spoken about it before, but Lumnar is a software that I use personally for a lot of my AI designs. You guys are seeing some designs here that I've created on this YouTube channel. On my other computer, I have it on a lot of my AI designs, and I have the style that, or the setup that I do every single time. And I'll leave a link in the description to the cheapest place where you can find the software, okay? There are different places, different websites where you can actually legitimately buy it. I'm always doing a search on where's the cheapest because I do pay monthly for the software. I do want it constantly updated, things like that. So I'm going to go over here and I take the image, right? And the first thing that I say to myself, okay, I want to be able to separate the background from the actual contents of the image. And I have to think to myself, okay, let's look at the natural errors of the image. So in my case, the only natural error that I could really pinpoint and see is this section here, right? Because of the hand, right? The fingers, whatever the case may be. So I have the perfect idea. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to go to develop. And I want certain colors to stand out more than others, right? So I'm going to go over here to my smart contrast, and that's exactly what smart contrast does. Now, the reason why I'm dragging it so slowly is because I want you to see the effect that it's changing over time. So this is how it basically is in full effect, right? Smart contrast. If I drag it all the way down, it reverts back to its normal, right? So I go here, boom. Now, I don't want smart contrast all the way up. I do feel like the orange is a little bit too strong for me. So I'm going to take it about somewhere there, right? So a little bit over halfway on the right side. Now that that's taken care of, I do want to increase my shadows, right? Or make it a little bit darker. So something like this, right? And so look here. This is the original. This is what it looks like now, okay? A little bit of a difference there, all right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and denoise. There's a lot of noise going on in the art, and I'm denoising it. So you see the difference here. What it's doing, denoising, is just making it a little bit cleaner overall when I end up removing the background. And I'll show you what I mean by that, okay? So now that that's taken care of, now it's time to take the design, and I could apply some changes to it, but I think it's not fully ready. I have to use Lumnar twice in this situation. I'm going to take the design and I'm going to export it the way it is. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to disk. I'm going to give a random name and I'm going to export it. Now notice, I didn't upscale the design yet, right? So I didn't drag it into my upscaler. Not yet, because there's something I want to do to it. I'm going to go over here to GIMP and I'm going to open up GIMP. And what GIMP is going to do here is it's going to help me separate the creation that I have. I got to make sure, by the way, I select the right image, right? Because this is the original, okay? And let me show you what the changed image looks like. So it looks like this. This is the changed image. And I have reasons as to why I changed it. And I'll show you in a minute when this whole thing is put together and it looks good, right? So I'm going to select now this background. And notice, most of the background is selected with less issues. Why? Because of that denoiser. The reason why the denoiser is so important is because when GIMP selects a color and Fuzzy selects it and selects the whole thing, it's selecting it based on the color separation. So if there's a section here that's a little bit darker than the rest of the background, it won't be selected. But because I turned that denoiser all the way up, and I'm not sure if my screen recorder picked it up, but because I turned it all the way up, it makes sure that it gets rid of those natural blemishes, okay? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an alpha channel, right, to make it transparent. And I'm going to hit erase here, and I'm going to erase all the different features that make this thing or make it non-transparent, right? And I'm just taking my mouse and I'm going over the edges here. So now effectively, as a quick tutorial, this can go on a t-shirt, right? So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to hit select none, right? And this is now where I can export the design, okay? So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Export As. But I'm going to export it as a PNG. It's originally a JPEG, right? If I export it as a JPEG, it's unfortunately not going to be transparent. It's going to be like a regular, kind of image. I don't want that. So now that it's exported as a JPEG, now I'm going to put it back into Lumnar Neo, in case if I need to change or erase anything. Now you might say, erase anything? What are you talking about? You just erase something. I'll show you what I mean. So you see, like, for example, this section here. Look, I want to show you guys. You see, like, can I zoom in here? I can zoom in. So let's go to 600 zoom. Let's go all the way up. I want to show you guys what I'm talking about. Like, you see something like this on a t-shirt, guys. Now, on the computer, it doesn't look like big of a deal when you zoom out. But on a t-shirt, every little thing is noticeable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this erase button right here. And I'm going to hit erase. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase some of these natural blemishes, right? And I'm going to erase them. All right, guys, so you can see the image here. After uploading it into Lumnar, we have a really good image. It's solid. I could put, upload it onto a t-shirt, and it will look pretty decent. But I do want to make some changes just to up the ante, all right? So here on Lumnar, I have an enhanced AI feature. And this feature is cool because with AI, it chooses to accent certain things. So, for example, I want her skin to be maybe a lighter tone, especially in the darker areas. And I also want the darker areas to really get a little bit darker. And so that's what it's going to do. It's going to implement certain features into that. So can you see the difference here? It's very slight, but it does make a difference, right? So boom. All right, so that's done. I'm going to leave it at 33 for me. Now what I like to do is I like to test certain things. I want this to have a little bit more grunge to it. Right? I want a little more grunge to it. And I'm actually going to zoom in so you guys can see the emphasis of this grunge type. And I'm going to go to film grain here, and I'm going to increase the film grain. Now, what does film grain do? Do you see the difference here? Look at this and look at this. This comes down to personal opinion. I think sometimes when you add film grain to the image, it looks more vintage almost, right? And when I mix this with an authentic grunge, it's going to look even better. Like, it's going to look like it came out of a comic book. So I'm adding this film grain here, and I'm adding it to a point where it doesn't affect the image's good consistency, but it's definitely visible, right? It's definitely visible. Now, this is up to you. You might like to do it. You might not like to do it. And then finally, I'm going to go over here into glow. And what glow does is it almost has this very, very, very light blurring feature or smoothing feature, but it also brings out certain colors. And because of her white skin, it might not go well, so we'll see how it works. It's all about testing, right? So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go to glow, just like this. And I can select how much glow I want or how much lack of glow that I want. So you could see here, I told you guys earlier, I want her skin to be a little bit brighter because then it will give more shadows when the areas that are darker. And so I can go like this, for example, and I think that's good enough for me. I think that's where I want it. So I'm going to go zoom out here. Let's zoom out to 100%, and you can see the composition now of the image. It originally looked like this. Now it looks like this. Much different of an image. Now what I'm going to do is, and by the way, I could shift the way her body looks. Like I can make her face look skinnier, face look taller, whatever the case may be. I think she's perfect the way she is. I'm going to go ahead and export this, right? And I'm just going to give it like some random title. Boom, save. And this is where I'm going to upload it into Canva now. So come with me, and we're going to go ahead and work on Canva and turn this into an actual epic shirt. All right, guys, so I'm back, and I'm on Canva. And you can see here, this is the design here with the film grain, right? If I zoom in, you can see this is the one. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm just going to make sure I kind of set things up here. And by the way, if you guys want to see a future video on how I make these play on word type designs like this, perfectly toasted, or food fight like this one, or from this one, from Predator to Pillow, slice and dice, iced coffee, iced tea, right? Yeti or not, here I come. If you want to see more designs like this, let me know. I'll make a video on it on the future. But anyways, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this smaller, okay? The only reason I'm making it smaller is because I want to see how I can kind of configure this. Now, mind you, there's an issue here with the design. The design issue is the hands. Like this hand is just non-existent, and this hand is all weirded out, right? It's got like 3 fingers, you know, it is what it is. It's okay. I'm going to make this thing happen. Watch this. So if the background, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the background black, okay? And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go to Edit Photo, and I'm going to use this BG Remover tool. So I'm going to go over here, BG Remover, and it's going to remove, should be, all the different white areas. Canva's not always good with this. It's good sometimes, but in this case, it worked well, right? So here we have the image. We have the black background, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an element here that covers this, right? So I'm going to search for something like a ribbon, okay? And the ribbon is really going to be like a banner type ribbon, like something similar to this, okay? Now, this looks a little bit too perfect for me. Like, it looks like it's not, damaged in any kind of way. I think this one looks decent. And what we're going to, I want it to be thick, though. I want it to be fat. So what we're going to do is I'm going to, let's see here. Maybe I could use something like this. Let's see. Yeah, I could use something like this. So I'm going to get rid of this here. And notice how the thickness of this covers everything I needed to cover. Okay, just like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it white just for this second, just so you guys can see it. And I'm going to see here if I can kind of make it like a brownish color tone. So I'm going to go here to my palette generator. I'm going to see what kind of brownish color tone that might arise. I think I like this one. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to go over here into these colors, and I'm going to select, I'm going to copy the exact color. And actually, I think I want it to be a little more, let's see here, a little more, I think this is decent, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and create an empty design and take that ribbon and move it here, right? But I have to make sure I match the color that I want. Maybe if I do, let's see instead if we go with like an orange, let's see what happens, okay? Let's go ahead, select one of these oranges. That's okay. And I'm going to take it, and I'm going to take it like this, and I'm going to export the design, okay? And I'm going to go over here to transparent. I'm going to export this, and I'm going to enlarge the image. And I'm going to take this to Luminar, and I'm going to apply the same film grain to it. So I'm going to go over here to Luminar, and I'm creating my own element here, but the reason why I'm doing this is because this is a delicate situation. We have to make sure that this image, is covered up in the right way. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to Edit, right? I'm going to go to Film Grain. Where's Film Grain? And I'm going to take this all the way up, and that's what I'm looking for, just like this, okay? And I could, add some elements to it, like the mystical feeling. I like the mystical feeling. And then what I'm going to do is, actually, I'm going to have to turn the mystical feeling down. I can't keep that up right now. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But I'm going to be chopping this part up, all right? And you'll see in a second how it looks. So let me see here what we got. So let me see. I'm going to upload this into Canva, and I'm going to now remove the background here, okay? So I'm going to edit and let it load, remove the background. You guys will see how this is going to end up, all right? Now, it's going to take some time here, but we're making use of a design that we might have not had before, right? So if I just keep it like this is fine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to start chopping it up. So I'm going to take this, cut it, double select, right? I'm going to crop it kind of like this, okay? And keep this part and leave something like this here. And let's go ahead and cut this part. Okay. Move this that way. Okay, just like this. I'm going to take this little piece right here, turn it kind of like this. All right. And now this looks weird, right? You're going to be like, well, what is that? Why does it look like that? I'll show you. So I'm going to move this to the right-hand side, kind of leave it like this. And then what I'm going to do is this is where I'm going to start adding paint splatter. So paint splatter, black. Let's make it black. Let's enlarge it, kind of like this. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm making this less perfect in the way that it's formulated. So I'll take that. Hold on. Let me lock this to the canvas here. I'll take this and I'm going to go over here and I'll hit lock. Okay. And I'm going